An audacious crime on Syracuse's east side sends investigators spiraling for answers.
Oh. Get out. Well, this is Shirley. It was a very brutal, grisly crime scene.
The little kid just ran to me. He said his friend was dead.
It's a crime of anger, someone who is very upset with that person.
It definitely devastated me because now in my head it's like, why?
Before long, detectives are hot on the trail of a heartless killer.
There had been history of physical and psychological abuse.
He had both motive and proclivity to commit this crime, but he was nowhere to be found.
That gave us a really strong indication that he was on the run.
But her loved ones won't stop fighting until they see justice served.
He took a life that didn't belong to him, and he thought he was going to get away with it.
He has no remorse. He does not care.
This is a selfish and evil crime.
Any red flags of abuse or a bad relationship, just run, just get out.
September 15th, 2021. Summer is coming to an end in Syracuse, a city regarded as the economic and educational hub of upstate New York.
It's known as the Central City in upstate New York. Approximately 150,000 people. We're most well known for Syracuse University, but the city itself has been one of the more violent places in upstate New York. Because of that, we have an entire unit that investigates homicides in the city.
And around 3:30 a.m., local investigators are called into action.
There's been a shooting in an apartment complex in East Syracuse.
521, it's going to be a confirmed shooting. Copy, confirmed shooting.
When police make their way inside the apartment, they realize they're dealing with multiple victims.
Oh. Get out. Clear, two down. S20, we're going to need medical hands.
They locate two victims, one male and one female. They were both on the kitchen floor.
Both victims are unconscious and lying in pools of blood.
There was large amounts of blood, and it was a very brutal, grisly crime scene.
There's casings right there. No gun. Right here. Right here. There's casings on the ground. There's casings right there.
Based on the amount of blood and shell casings, it's obvious to officers that both victims have been shot multiple times.
Even seasoned officers are taken aback by the brutality of this crime.
Well, this is Shirley.
Yeah. I gotta say, this is not what I was expecting when I said come to this call.
The victims are identified as 29-year-old Shabria Gainey and 33-year-old Julian Mansaw.
Julian was shot 10 times, while Shabria suffered 5 gunshot wounds.
To officers, this immediately reads overkill.
Regardless, paramedics must conduct their due diligence, checking for any possible signs of life.
Okay, let's see if we have pulse.
Sadly, there's nothing the paramedics can do for Julian.
So there is no pulse. They were too late to support and help him. Julian is already dead.
But to everyone's surprise, there is hope for Shabria.
You say you got a pulse on her? Yeah.
She has been shot in her arm, her back, and her chest, a total of 5 times. But as EMTs check for a pulse, they notice that she's still alive.
Girl. Somebody
However, if there's going to be a chance of saving Shabria's life, paramedics are in a race against time.
Let's bring the girl out this way, Brett. You're going to take her out in the hallway.
They waste no time loading Shabria into the ambulance.
As she's raced to the hospital, paramedics do everything they can to save her life.
The big question right now is, will it be enough?
For 29-year-old single mother Shabria Gainey, nothing was more important than family.
She's very outspoken. She's also very overprotective. She don't play about her family.
She was outgoing, friendly, very family-oriented. She hung out a lot with her sisters. We was very close.
We had a great relationship. We laughed, we danced, we sang, we cracked jokes about people in the family and stuff like that.
She's always laughing, she's always smiling. She called herself Looney Tunes for a reason, because she is goofy. Always making people laugh, kind of like, I would say like life of the party kind of thing. We always had a great time.
Shabria dreamt of letting her outgoing personality shine for the world to see.
She actually wanted to be a singer or a dancer. She loved to dance and sing, and she was very good at it. But she had 2 boys that she had to focus on. It was hard for her, but she loved being a mom, and she showed her kids lots of love.
Her worry was more making sure that she had a legacy for her boys. She wanted to make sure she can make any type of positive life she can with the boys.
She was a good mom. She loved those boys, and those were her life.
Like many other young women, Shabria also longed for a life partner. But finding the right man proved to be a challenge.
In 2021, she just got out of a rocky 3-year relationship.
It was mostly drama or them arguing about something.
She said, oh, this is not working. I'm gonna move on.
And Shabria didn't waste any time jumping back into the dating pool.
She did have a few boyfriends. Some of them was very nice, but she didn't look at them like, oh, this is my life right here. She just kind of moved on.
However, when Shabria started spending more time with a childhood friend, 33-year-old Julian Mansaw, it seemed as though their platonic relationship could become something more.
They were friends since middle school. They've always been really close.
He's been around forever, always there for her. She can always depend on Julian.
I think her and Julian always had a little romance going on, but they never pursued it because they were in relationships. And they didn't want to mess up their friendship by a relationship.
But after years spent as just friends, the stars had finally aligned.
Julian was newly divorced and had 2 young kids. So he and Shabria really bonded over their love for their children.
It was nice to see her happy and smiling. He was good to her. He kept a smile on her face.
But now Shabria and Julian have been gunned down inside her apartment.
Let's bring the girl out this way, Brett. You're gonna take her out in the hallway.
Julian didn't make it, but Shabria still had a pulse, so she was rushed to the hospital.
Meanwhile, officers outside are speaking with the neighbor who made the 911 call, and he's accompanied by a young boy.
The little kid just ran to me.
Yeah. What he said?
He said his parent is dead.
It seems Shabria's 6-year-old son was the one who found her and Julian.
Did he also witness what happened?
It's difficult to see a small child trying to process those very, very difficult traumas.
After ending a tumultuous 3-year relationship, single mother Shabria Gainey had recently gotten another chance at love with an old friend named Julian Mansaw.
He was very nice and good to Shabria.
Julian was the gentlest person I knew. They were always friends.
He's been around forever.
But on September 15th, 2021, Julian is dead, and Shabria's life is in jeopardy after her young son found them shot inside Shabria's East Syracuse apartment.
The little kid just ran to me.
Yeah. What he said?
He said his parent is dead.
Shabria's neighbor tells detectives that around 3 a.m., he'd just stepped outside when Shabria's little boy ran up to him.
You were sitting outside. He just basically found you first?
Okay. He was crying.
The caller stated that he did not step foot inside, but instead called 911 and waited with the young boy.
The officers decide to take Shabria's young son aside to see if there's anything else he can tell them about what he witnessed.
Why don't you come with me, little man?
You want to have a seat in here for me, buddy?
That was a very difficult interview for him to get through, especially. He is 6 years old. It is difficult to see that in a small child, trying to process those, very, very difficult traumas.
He said he heard shots, and he said he stayed in his room because he was scared. And when shots stopped, he came out and he said they was all in a lot of blood. And so he ran out and tried to get help.
Fortunately, Shabria's other son was spared the nightmare his little brother endured.
That night, the father of the oldest one took him, and she had the little one.
As police continue questioning Shabria's young son, they realize he won't be able to give them much more information.
Who else was in the apartment besides your mommy? Have you seen that man who was in there before? No.
He doesn't know his date of birth. He just knows his first.
Does he know his first and last name?
Just his first name.
He does know that he's got family living nearby, but he doesn't know where they are or how to reach them.
He says he's got a grandma, but doesn't know where, doesn't know his number.
However, as the sun begins to rise over Syracuse, the rest of Shabria's family receives word that something terrible has happened.
My uncle's girlfriend called me and told me that she had been listening to the police scanner, and it said Gainey on the east side of Syracuse.
I woke up to 5 missed phone calls and a message saying that Shabria could be in trouble and that we needed to head up to her apartment as soon as possible.
I got the call. It said, get to Shabria's house ASAP. Something happened.
Shabria's family began to show up on the scene and demand answers from police.
My Aunt Melissa was out there. We all were out there. Shabria's kid was in the car with this CPS worker.
We got a call that our family member is in trouble. We need to know what's going on, at least something.
But with an open investigation in process, getting any answers from the officers is easier said than done.
Ma'am, I have nothing for you.
I seen a lot of police and it was taped off. We didn't know who was hurt in the house or how bad it was or anything, and they weren't really telling us much. So it was terrible. We were very much panicked.
I just got the call from the neighbor. That's the only reason why I knew.
It's an ongoing investigation. I can't say anything.
Really?
It's very common in homicides, especially, to have family members have very big reactions. So I don't begrudge anybody that has a big reaction to that. You want to be as helpful as you can, but it's difficult to toe that line between telling the family everything and protecting the integrity of the case.
Obviously, they got a crime scene to focus on, but we're trying to figure out where my sister is.
They took a long time to actually tell us anything. We stood outside for an hour waiting to hear something.
Finally, there's some news.
And they said 2 people was hurt and Shabria was at the hospital.
Shabria's family rushes to her side, but upon arriving at the hospital, they learn it's too late.
Despite doctors' best efforts, they were not able to bring Shabria back from the brink.
My sister is dead.
Syracuse, New York. 29-year-old shooting victim Shabria Gainey has just passed away at the hospital from her injuries.
My sister is dead. She didn't make it. I'm not really one to be emotional, whatever, when it comes to certain things, but that broke me. Yeah, that broke me.
She was still fighting, like the fighter she was. I'm shocked that she passed. She was a big fighter.
As Shabria's family tries to come to terms with the tragic news, investigators continue searching for clues as to who did this.
There's an open window, and investigators surmise that's how the killer was able to enter the apartment.
Inside the house were multiple .40 caliber casings.
The police recovered at least a dozen spent casings from the kitchen floor, and underneath the fridge,
There are also multiple projectiles embedded into a nearby couch.
I think any police officer is going to look at that scene and see that it's pretty clear that it's a crime of anger, someone who is very upset with that person.
In their search for answers, the investigators circle back around to Shabria's devastated family.
Learning that terrible piece of news, it's a very difficult thing to process. It's a very difficult thing to understand that their family member's no longer here and they're not coming back.
How is her little boy doing?
He's okay. We kind of explained it to him, too, that she's still with you. She's in heaven now, but she's always going to be with you. And he did very good, I think, for a 6-year-old, better than I did.
Detectives confirmed to the family that there was a second victim, Julian Mansaw.
It definitely devastated me because now in my head it's like, why? Because Julian was the gentlest person I knew.
Do you have any idea who may have done this?
The family has an immediate answer.
At this point, when I realized it was Julian, we knew what happened, we knew who did it. There was no doubt at all.
It had to be Shabria's ex, Bruce.
The family explains that Shabria had broken up with 39-year-old Bruce Miles about a month ago in early August.
Let's be real, I never liked him. I just never seen anything positive with him.
The family states that Bruce is violent, he's abusive. She's been trying to separate from him, but he's refusing to let her go.
There had been, a history between Bruce and Shabria of physical and psychological abuse.
There was just something not right about him. He would threaten her or tell her he's gonna do this or do that, but she wasn't afraid.
I'm tired of you. I'm leaving you. I am done.
She told me she was leaving him. She made her decision and she went and followed through with it.
According to the family, though, Bruce refused to leave quietly.
Unfortunately, Bruce did not take that very well, and he became enraged and hit her.
Bruce, during that time, according to what Shabria said, had choked her, punched her, and kicked her, and thrown her down. Actually, she finally called the police. She wanted him arrested.
I'm gonna call the cops.
Go for it.
But when police finally arrived, Bruce was gone.
They were unable to apprehend him.
He still had an outstanding warrant at the time Shabria was killed.
Based on the recent breakup and the history of abuse, they feel he had both motive and proclivity to commit this crime.
He's the only one could have done it.
Still, without any hard evidence linking Bruce to the murders, detectives know they need to conduct a full investigation before jumping to conclusions.
We knew it was Bruce that did it. We told the police it was Bruce, but they said, oh, we can't just go and arrest Bruce without knowing that it's Bruce.
We're going to be investigating this further, okay?
It's a very recurring theme in homicide investigations that we targeted one individual and zeroed in on him, and we put blinders on and didn't look at anybody else.
We'll be in touch.
We do everything we can to be as objective as possible and focus on the actual evidence, as opposed to, having a theory and then making our pieces fit after that.
Back at the station, detectives begin ruling out any other possible suspects.
We also looked into potential persons of interest in Julian's life, and we didn't see anything in Julian's life that would indicate to us that Julian had any enemies. So we really focused on Shabria.
When detectives perform a background check on Shabria's ex, Bruce Miles, they unlock a wealth of information that corroborates what they've already learned from Shabria's family.
He had a previous history. He had a firearms charge in his past, and the domestic violence with Shabria, it corroborated what we thought. We knew that Bruce had been abusive in the past.
Next, detectives uncover a piece of information that might help them track Bruce down.
They see Bruce Miles has a white sedan registered to him. It was an older model.
Looking for any sign of Bruce's white sedan, detectives comb through video footage collected from surveillance cameras near the crime scene.
There was a lot of video in this case from cameras that are set up throughout certain areas of the city that SPD owns and operates, from residential cameras and business cameras.
A large part of what we do is we expand our investigation out and we track persons of interest or vehicles coming to or going from the scene before and after the crime.
When detectives start scouring through the footage, it doesn't take them long to find something.
Around 2:45 in the morning, we see a car leave from the area of Shabria's apartment. The vehicle was a white sedan.
It's the same type of car that Bruce Miles drives.
Syracuse detectives investigating the double homicide of 29-year-old Shabria Gainey and 33-year-old Julian Mansaw believe Shabria's ex, Bruce Miles, is behind the sordid crime. And they've just located surveillance footage that bolsters their theory.
Around 2:45 in the morning, we see a car leave from the area of Shabria's apartment. The vehicle was a white sedan.
It's the same type of car that Bruce Miles drives.
Using the footage obtained from other cameras across the city, detectives begin tracking the white car and recreate the path it took after leaving Shabria's apartment.
About half a mile from the crime scene, the car stopped at a local convenience store, and the driver exited the vehicle and walked inside.
The video wasn't the greatest. It was nighttime, so it's kind of hard. You can't really make out a face.
After leaving the convenience store, the driver heads south, eventually pulling over along the banks of Onondaga Creek, a shallow waterway running through the city.
Detectives now believe the murder weapon was disposed of in that creek.
Next, detectives are able to track the path from Onondaga Creek to the final destination,
which happens to be Bruce Miles' residence in South Syracuse.
The footage prompts detectives to leap into action, hoping the current hasn't carried away whatever Bruce threw into the water.
We responded down there, and it was thankfully a low tide at the time.
At first, there's not much to see.
There were a couple plastic bags from what I remember.
But further investigation reveals a treasure trove of evidence.
Sitting on top of the handle of that bag was a live .40 caliber round, and there was just a ton of ballistic evidence and gun evidence in this area.
We found multiple magazines and multiple live .40 caliber rounds of ammunition. The same caliber, kind, and color, actually, that was found where Shabria and Julian were found.
Hoping to find a literal smoking gun, detectives call in the dive team.
And they hit the jackpot.
The dive team came and found an actual firearm inside the creek, right in the same path of where we found these other particular items.
It was a .40 caliber Smith & Wesson.
Back at the station, detectives run the gun's serial number through their system.
They find out that it has been stolen from Dayton, Ohio, out of the owner's vehicle.
Unfortunately, that doesn't help link the gun to Bruce Miles.
However, the evidence is compelling enough for detectives to get a warrant to search the home Bruce shares with his mother. The white sedan is there, but Bruce is not.
When they executed the warrant, Bruce was nowhere to be found.
Inside the home, they don't uncover any evidence that directly links Bruce to the crime.
His mother stated that there was no way Bruce could have committed the murders, as he was home from 1 a.m. to 7 a.m., which is the time frame when the murders occurred.
His mom told us that he was sleeping on the couch downstairs.
But near the front door, something catches their eye.
When we're talking to the mother, we find large suitcases in her front hallway.
There were multiple suitcases as if someone was packing for a trip.
To detectives, the discovery immediately sets off alarm bells.
That gave us a really strong indication that he was on the run.
Syracuse detectives have zeroed in on 39-year-old Bruce Miles as the prime suspect in the murders of his ex-girlfriend, Shabria Gainey, and her new boyfriend, Julian Mansaw. And after unearthing some damning evidence, police now believe Bruce is trying to evade them.
There were multiple suitcases as if someone was packing for a trip.
That gave us a really strong indication that he was on the run.
Ma'am, can we speak to you for a moment?
And even though Bruce's mother claims he was home with her all night between 1 a.m. and 7 a.m., investigators aren't buying it.
He was here last night.
We have footage that proves otherwise.
We were able to definitively say with camera footage that that's not what happened.
They have his car in surveillance, leaving Shabria's apartment complex around 3 a.m.
The detectives tell Bruce's mother about how they tracked his movements all the way to Onondaga Creek, where they found the gun that killed Shabria and Julian.
The creek was just a couple blocks from Bruce Miles' home. This is a mountain of evidence, Mr. Miles.
Where is he?
I don't know.
You sure about that?
That's when Bruce's mother starts to cave.
Okay.
She admits she gave him a ride to the bus station earlier that morning around 3:30 a.m.
However, she was unsure where he was going.
Why are these suitcases still here?
They wouldn't let him take them all.
Bruce tried to bring those suitcases with him to the transport center, but he was unable to because they only let him bring a certain number of luggage items.
Armed with this new information, detectives head to the bus station, hoping to figure out where Bruce went.
We were able to find that he had purchased a ticket at 3:30 in the morning for a bus from Syracuse to Columbus, Ohio, which is supposed to arrive at 2:10 p.m. This is right around noon that we learned this information.
With only a couple of hours before Bruce is due to arrive in Columbus, detectives quickly reach out to their counterparts in Ohio.
We were able to contact their warrant squad in Columbus, and they were gracious enough to help us take him into custody.
Officers in Ohio arrive in the nick of time, just as the bus is pulling in.
They reacted in record time, and the fact that they were able to get to the Regional Transportation Center while the perpetrator was still on the bus was incredible.
Bruce Miles. Yeah, you under arrest.
As soon as Bruce exits the bus, they're able to apprehend him and take him into custody.
He did not resist arrest. He was taken into custody without incident.
I felt like it was stupid to run. It was a lot of drama.
We were so happy that they caught him finally. That's what everybody was hoping for, because we thought he got away.
The detectives back in Syracuse are eager to speak with Bruce.
Once we learned he was in custody, we drove directly to Columbus, Ohio to attempt to interview him, and he declined our efforts to have a conversation with him.
He was subsequently extradited back to New York.
Bruce is charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder.
First-degree murder is a rare charge in New York State, reserved for only the most heinous and serious crimes.
Murder in the first degree, you need aggravating factors. And in this particular case, the aggravating factor was that 2 people lost their lives at the same time.
But without a confession, prosecutors will have to work overtime to craft their theory of what really happened on the night of September 15th.
When he actually got into the apartment, then just rage came out.
With the help of police in Columbus, Ohio, Syracuse detectives now have Bruce Miles, their top suspect in the murders of Shabria Gainey and Julian Mansaw, in custody.
I was happy that they got him, but I was still sad because he took my best friend away.
We formally charged him with murder in the first degree because he had killed 2 people.
Bruce is held without bail until the start of the murder trial in March of 2023.
At trial, prosecutors opened their case by contending that Bruce's motive couldn't be clearer. It was jealousy.
We really kind of focused on a theme and theory of jealousy. Mr. Miles was jealous that Shabria was with Julian. And because it's a circumstantial case, I really wanted the jury to see that there's nobody else who could have committed this crime. He had the motive to do it. He had the means to do it. He was in the area.
When Shabria broke up with Bruce in August 2021, he was determined to do everything to win her back.
The prosecution argues that was exactly Bruce's plan in the early morning hours of September 15th.
We found that he had made 9 phone calls to Shabria from 1 a.m. to 1:38 a.m.
The majority of them are hang-ups because they're so short. And there were a couple that were a little bit longer, so we believe that there was some sort of conversation where she's already told him, I don't want you to come over, I don't want you to call me anymore.
Hello, Sabria.
Bruce, stop calling me. Leave me alone.
According to the prosecution, after those calls, Bruce headed over to Shabria's apartment.
Mr. Miles probably had an indication that Shabria was with another man. It was my theory that he's already made up his mind as to what he's going to do.
We had a pretty good indication that the motive was, if I can't have her, no one can.
The investigators believe Bruce was able to sneak into the apartment through a window that was unlocked.
However, prosecutors say that it's less clear whether Bruce's initial intention was to kill Shabria and Julian or just to confront them.
Who is this?
I think that wasn't necessarily a crime of passion, but I believe that when he actually got into the apartment, then just rage came out.
Shut up!
The prosecution argues that Bruce lost it because what he wanted did not happen. He was super angry to find Sabria with another man.
Man, just calm down.
Calm down, calm down.
He fired off more than a dozen rounds at a defenseless Julian and Shabria, hitting them each multiple times and killing them both.
His emotional regulation was non-existent, and he was really just seeing red and seeing rage, and nothing was going to stand in his way of ending their lives.
After the shooting, he fled the scene, tossing the gun in Onondaga Creek, before heading home and plotting his escape to Ohio.
In an act of bravery, Shabria's own son, now 8 years old, takes the stand to testify about the horrors he witnessed that night.
They put him on the stand, and I think he did a great job.
He got up there like a big boy and said what he needed to say. He told what happened to his mom the best he could have. I was very proud of him that he was strong enough to get up there, and he definitely got that from his mother.
On the stand, he discusses being woken up in the middle of the night to the sound of gunshots and finding his mother and another man bleeding out on the floor.
His testimony was absolutely impactful. He was extremely brave in doing it, and it was very impactful because that bravery came out.
Everybody in the courtroom was crying. That was very, sad to put a little kid like that on the stand. But he knew the most.
The fact that he had to see it, the fact that he had to go find somebody to help him call the police, he is so strong and brave.
But when it's the defense's turn, they argue that none of the evidence is enough to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that Bruce is guilty of murder.
His defense's strategy really was that Mr. Miles was at the wrong place at the wrong time.
Bruce's defense also states that there's a reasonable explanation for him to have been in the apartment complex, as he has a friend that lives in the area as well, and they had plans to spend time together that night.
They said that he just sat and waited for, an hour or so, which would account for the time that he was actually there.
Will the effort to create a reasonable doubt work? After 2 days of deliberation, the jury returns with its verdict.
The jury comes back with a guilty verdict for first-degree murder, tampering with evidence, and criminal possession of a weapon.
The jury was able to make the correct determination that it was Bruce Miles.
When they said guilty, it really was just a big relief because I could hear Shabria's family and Julian's family in the back start to cry, and they were obviously very emotional.
I was happy that it came back guilty.
That was a very good day, but I was very nervous. We sat there and waited and waited and waited and waited, and I just wanted to celebrate because if this is the type of justice that we have to get, then so be it.
I knew he was going down. I was happy about that. It's the best day of my life, I felt like.
At Bruce's sentencing hearing, Shabria's family has some choice words for him.
They discuss how difficult it has been for Shabria and Julian's children to cope with the loss of their parents, especially Shabria's son, who now suffers from PTSD and night terrors.
The fact that he had to see it, the fact that he had to go find somebody to help him, the fact that he's involved, period, like, no, I'm not okay with it.
But even faced with all the grief he's caused, Bruce refuses to admit his guilt.
He told the court, I'm not going to apologize or say I'm sorry because I have nothing to be sorry about. He was very nonchalant in the courtroom. He thought he was going to get away with it.
He has no remorse. He does not care. And he's really trying to save himself.
But the judge is having none of it.
The judge was like, you don't have any remorse? And he told him he's very disappointed in him when we know that you've done this and you still have no remorse.
He was sentenced to the potential of 41 1/3 to life to 44 years to life.
Most likely, Bruce will never see life outside of prison again.
However, for those left behind, it still doesn't feel like enough.
I was glad that he was getting such a high number, and obviously he has life on the back end of it. But in my opinion, I thought he deserved life without parole.
I think he should do life. He took away a life. He took a life that didn't belong to him.
I was happy, but at the same time, like I said, it doesn't bring her back. It doesn't bring Julian back either.
Mr. Miles is where he belongs. He took away somebody's sister, somebody's daughter, somebody's mother. He took away a son, a brother, a father. And again, for just really no good reason.
Whenever somebody loses their life, there's always more than one victim, especially in this case. Anybody who loved Julian or anybody who loved Shabria, they're also victims, and especially Shabria's son.
He's strong, he's in counseling. He didn't really talk too much before, and now he opens up and talks.
He's doing very good. Better than I thought he would. He's doing great.
I have this huge picture in my room of Shabria, the beautifulest picture ever. And when I feeling down or whatever, I may talk to that picture, let her know how much I miss her. And I wish she was here. I would give her a big old hug and a kiss and tell her I love her so much.
There's so much she's missing that she should be here for. We all miss her down here. Yeah, she's missed a lot. It has devastated us all in some form and fashion.
And the family has sage advice for other women who find themselves in a similar predicament.
Any red flags of abuse or a bad relationship, just run.
California beauty Veronica Paz always had a thing for jocks.
Brandon was the star of the football team, and Veronica was the prettiest girl in high school. They seemed like the perfect couple.
But when a rival competitor enters the picture, she must make a deadly choice.
She drove that kid up there for his execution.
There's someone either passed out or dead, and you hear blood from the back of his head.
No!
They were a lethal team and would do anything for each other, even kill.
And later, afflicted with cerebral palsy, British-born Donna Slaughter never felt worthy of a man's attention.
Donna needed security and love and to feel like a desirable woman.
So when she meets a man who gives her all of those things, she's willing to do absolutely anything for him.
Jason had him sign the insurance doc, but Donna insured the payout.
She would do anything he wanted her to do, even murder.
Born beautiful, Veronica Paz grows up pampered in sunny Orange County, California, and she loves every minute of it.
She was the only daughter. She had 2 brothers, and she was the princess of the family. And she grew up expecting the same treatment from the rest of the world.
Although the lovely Latina is not one to rest on her laurels, she excels in academics as well, even rising to the top of her class.
Veronica was a very good student. She'd be named Citizen of the Month, and teachers all had great things to say about her.
By the time she's 17, the girl with beauty and brains is admired by everyone around her, especially the boys. They can tell she's something special.
Veronica was a catch. Very popular, and she seemed to really like the attention.
She knows she could have the pick of the guys, but one stands out among the rest, the star running back Brandon Perry. He's a year behind Veronica, but just as popular as the senior.
Brandon was considered a very good athlete, especially in football. Had received some attention from colleges.
He was sort of like Veronica's opposite gender equivalent. He was popular, he was attractive, and he was admired by everyone in the school.
Even though Veronica still enjoys flirting with other boys, she and Brandon quickly become an item. Though after a year, the allure of dating a high school star suddenly loses its appeal when she graduates and starts working in the real world.
She was a checker at a supermarket, and she was a teacher's aide. Veronica had a couple jobs to help the family financially.
While she juggles between Brandon and her work responsibilities, her boyfriend's grades start to plummet, hurting his chances at stardom.
He just seemed to kind of lose interest in school, and then his senior year, he was ineligible for sports, even though he was the star of the football team.
So he decided to drop out of high school, and now he really wasn't doing anything with his life.
Veronica's not pleased with Brandon's lack of ambition, and for the next few years, the two struggle with the typical ups and downs of young love.
He was at home playing video games pretty often, and oftentimes calling Veronica to see what she was doing.
When we're looking at adolescent relationships, sometimes they can be very intense.
You didn't tell me you were going to work today?
Yeah, I told you I was picking up a shift.
Veronica did seem to have a genuine love for Brandon, but she was young, and so she wanted to see what else was out there.
3 years after high school, the couple is still holding on tight to their love when Veronica lays eyes on 17-year-old Diego Gonzalez Sanchez, the new bagger at her job.
Diego was living with his family, going to a local high school. He was in his senior year. He was the captain of the wrestling team.
She can't help but notice his good looks and natural prowess.
Diego was a star athlete, just like Brandon. And Veronica saw her opportunity to go back to dating the star athlete once again. So she told herself, I really want this guy.
And Diego's not complaining.
Diego was very interested in pursuing Veronica and hooking up with her, like any 17-year-old boy would be if he's being flirted with a 21-year-old woman.
But Veronica's actions are about to provoke a vicious war, one that will destroy multiple lives and end with a brutal murder.
They teamed up to take care of their problem.
Those two together were a deadly mix.
In Orange County, California, 21-year-old Veronica Paz finds herself attracted to her new co-worker, high school senior Diego Gonzalez Sanchez.
Diego got a job at the same supermarket where Veronica was working. He was a bag boy. She was a clerk.
Veronica doesn't care that he's only 17 or that she's on again with her 20-year-old boyfriend, Brandon Perry. She uses all of her best moves to play the younger Diego.
She was very flirtatious. She knew that she was beautiful, and she knew that she could get him.
A couple of weeks later, her charms do the trick, and the two drive to a secluded spot together after work. They soon find themselves steaming up the back seat.
They started to have mad, passionate sex with one another.
Jumping into a sexual relationship is really not a good idea, especially if you're young, because one person may be enamored with the sex and you end up having that very unbalanced relationship. One in it for sex, one in it for the real thing.
After that, the couple's road trips become routine, but they're careful to keep their affair on the down low.
Veronica was still dating Brandon, and she really still cared for Brandon, but Diego just had more to offer.
But when she hints at being exclusive, the teenager casually brushes her off.
From Diego's standpoint, this was a sexual thing, so he wasn't looking at Veronica that way.
This is new territory for Veronica because she's never been turned down before. And so she perhaps now wants the thing that she can't have. So now she tried much, much harder to get Diego.
As discreet as they try to be, it doesn't take long for word to get back to her boyfriend that Veronica's seeing someone on the side. Brandon immediately confronts her about Diego, but she flat out denies the relationship, and he believes her.
She says, oh, him, that boy's always bugging me. He's always chasing me. I don't like him. I don't want anything to do with him.
Brandon vows that if he ever runs into Diego on the street, he will make him pay for trying to put the moves on his girl.
Here, Veronica is rejected by Diego, but she's got a go-to guy, which is Brandon. And now Brandon is showing all of this jealousy. So now in her mind, he's showing me the attention that I can't get from Diego. But I still want Diego too.
A few months later, while continuing to date Brandon and enjoying her secret trysts with Diego, Veronica pushes the high school wrestler for more. When he refuses a second time, her blood begins to boil.
Not only was she humiliated by this young guy, but it made her really, really angry because she realized that she was just being used for her body.
That summer, Veronica's two worlds collide when she and Diego find themselves at the same party, and then her boyfriend shows up. When he sees his girl with the man he thinks is cutting in on his territory, he becomes enraged.
He wanted to defend his girl's honor, so quickly there was a confrontation between Diego and Brandon.
What's up? What's good?
Veronica silently watches as the two men in her life face off and something clicks.
What's up, man? What's up?
In her mind, Veronica really saw Brandon as being her knight in shining armor, rescuing her from the guy who rejected her.
But the star wrestler isn't backing down to the football has-been.
Which pushed Brandon's buttons even more, and there seemed to be some type of a macho standoff between those two.
It got really ugly, and then all of a sudden, one of Diego's friends pulled out a gun.
Man, you good? Oh, what's up now? Okay.
Not wanting to take any chances, Brandon yields.
Yeah, back up. That's how it is.
He grabs Veronica and the two take off. Fueled by rage and disgrace, the high school sweethearts decide Diego's days are numbered.
So done. I swear it's so
Veronica, as well as Brandon, were completely humiliated by Diego. They decided together they're gonna get rid of this problem.
Brandon now feels like, wait a minute, you dissed me in front of my woman? You know, I'm gonna get revenge. Veronica is thinking, wait a minute, you dissed both of us? Well, I want revenge too. Their combined humiliation turned them into a lethal weapon.
So the young couple comes up with a flawless plan to kill the teenage jock. A few weeks later, Brandon gets a gun, but tells Veronica that she needs to buy the ammunition since he's still a few months shy of 21. She does. Now all they need to do is figure out a way to get Diego alone without raising suspicion.
The stage was always set for it to happen. It just went to when's it gonna happen?
1 month later, around 11 p.m., the opportunity presents itself when Veronica gets a call from the man of the hour. suggesting they go for one of their usual rides.
Bad timing for Diego to have called her because Brandon was there.
Brandon said, okay, that's it. Arrange to meet him, and we'll take care of him.
She's gonna do whatever Brandon asks her because she realizes he's not bluffing. He wants revenge against Diego, and she's gonna help him in every way to do that.
How about I pick you up?
Veronica tells Diego she'll come get him and heads out to set the plan in motion.
Diego tells his family he's going to meet Veronica and leaves the house. Veronica picks him up near his residence.
The teenager is clueless as to the horror that awaits him. As Veronica drives to a secluded spot, she knows she can easily back out of the plan, but instead she never gives her lover a heads up.
She could have told Brandon I couldn't find him. He never made it to the corner where I told him to meet me.
When they part, she lures Diego into the back seat where the two start kissing. It's so hot and heavy that he doesn't hear a car pull up.
Veronica and Diego were really making out, and then all of a sudden, there was a tap at the window.
And later, in Georgia, Donna Slaughter will sacrifice everything so she can hold on to the only love she's ever known.
Even though it was tainted and twisted, she was willing to do anything for him.
Veronica Paz lures 17-year-old Diego Gonzalez to an isolated lover's lane in Orange County, California for sex. When her boyfriend Brandon Perry shows up, hell-bent on getting revenge after being humiliated by the teenager.
He pulls Diego out of the backseat at gunpoint.
Veronica jumps out of the car and stands by her boyfriend as he confronts the man who embarrassed them both.
Brandon and Veronica are standing side by side, Diego in front of him.
Come on, just put it down.
Diego took one step forward, and at that moment, Brandon shot Diego in the head.
To be sure he's dead, Brandon shoots him in the head again.
If the first shot to the forehead didn't kill him, the second shot certainly did.
In that moment, emotions were flying high. This was going to be the culmination of their revenge and the humiliation that they went through, and she just wasn't gonna stop at this point.
Before anyone spots them, the duo tries to get rid of the body, but their idea has a flaw.
They tried to actually burn Diego's body with diesel fuel. That didn't really do the job because diesel fuel isn't as flammable as petroleum, regular gasoline. Although the body burned a little, it didn't get rid of the evidence.
In a panic, the pair take off and call a couple of their pals to be their alibis.
They got their friends to agree to say that they were at their houses during the murder.
Veronica and Brandon go to sleep in their respective parents' houses, believing their secret is safe.
I would have to think they were in some sort of emotional shock. And the way that they could deal with that situation is not to think about their heinous acts, but more than anything else, how it brought the two of them together. They were now as thick as thieves.
The next morning at 8 a.m., two young men come across Diego's partially charred remains.
Hi, this is Orange County Fire. Can I help you?
Yeah, I'm in Orange Park Acres, and there's someone either passed out or dead. And
Okay, and what are you seeing?
there's a guy lying in the driveway, and you can see that there's blood from the back of his head.
As investigators reach out to Diego's family, they're horrified to learn of his violent death.
They were devastated, couldn't believe that their child, who had such a bright future and so much potential, was murdered.
And it doesn't take long before the name Veronica Paz pops up in the investigation.
Diego's brother informed police that he knew that Diego was meeting up with Veronica that night.
But police are really interested in what a friend of Diego tells them about Veronica's boyfriend, Brandon Perry.
They learned that there was a love triangle going on. That Diego and Veronica went to a party together. Brandon showed up and he confronted Diego.
Investigators immediately track the high school dropout down at his home, and he volunteers to come in for questioning. But that's where any cooperation ends.
When I asked him, are you aware of a person by the name of Diego Gonzalez? No, I'm not, which I knew was not the truth.
Sensing they're on the right track, detectives bluff and tell him they have his cell phone records and can tell exactly where he was when Diego was killed. And they're careful not to mention the location of the crime scene itself. They don't have to.
He bites on it and puts himself right in the area where the body's found.
I was driving around that neighborhood anyways.
Brandon incriminated himself by stating that he was driving around near the crime scene.
Realizing he's in over his head, Brandon refuses to say another word, but it's too late. Investigators charge him with first-degree murder. Next, police bring in Veronica, and over the next several hours, she flat out denies meeting Diego the night he was killed.
At no time did you say that you would meet with Diego?
No way. I told him that, I really don't want to deal with any drama. Damn, he's just trouble, and I don't want to deal with him at all.
She sticks to their concocted story and says she was at her friend's house all night.
She used her alibi and stuck to it. And also, she stuck by Brandon and stated that he didn't have anything to do with the crime.
Well, I'm asking you, are you trying to cover up something else? Because Brandon actually is being pretty honest.
Fearing what he might be saying about her role in Diego's demise, Veronica turns on her man.
Whatever love that Veronica had for Brandon, at this point, it was about self-preservation, and therefore that love went out the window.
She says she wants to tell me the truth. I ask her what that is, and she says to me that Brandon shot Diego.
Through tears, Veronica admits that she lured Diego to his death, but had no idea Brandon was going to kill him.
She said, I only thought he was going to beat him up.
After talking with her friends, police are way ahead of her and don't buy it.
She was aware that Brandon had a gun. She bought the ammunition for that gun. When she told me, she had no idea the end result was going to be Brandon shooting Diego. I can't believe that.
48 hours after Diego is shot in cold blood, Veronica Paz is arrested for first-degree murder and lying in wait. With the overwhelming amount of evidence against Brandon, he agrees to make a deal. His days of backing Veronica are over.
Brandon was facing life without the possibility of parole. When he found out that Veronica had thrown him under the bus, he agreed to a plea deal where he would get life with the possibility of parole and would testify against him.
4 months later, Veronica Paz goes to trial and is convicted of first-degree murder. But in 2008, her conviction is overturned on appeal because of faulty jury instruction.
And she decided to plead to second-degree murder.
She is sentenced to 15 years to life. Veronica now has plenty of time to think about how she went from a popular young woman with a future to an accomplice to murder.
Without Veronica's role, I don't believe Diego would have been killed. Brandon pulled the trigger, but Veronica got him up there. I'm sure every day they may be remorseful of, why did I do it?
When Veronica was humiliated by Diego, she didn't realize really the intensity of the hate she started feeling for him. And of course, having her go-to guy, Brandon, in many ways enabled that hate. She had someone who actually now made her feel better and emboldened her to go along with this murderous plot.
Veronica Paz was swept up in her boyfriend's deadly plan to prove that three's a crowd. Donna Slaughter's devotion to her man will lead her down a similar path. England native Donna Brimble has always struggled to fit in because of a developmental disorder.
Donna's got cerebral palsy, and she walks with a real strong gait. She has trouble keeping her balance without the use of a cane.
Cerebral palsy is a neurological issue where people have abnormal brain development, and it causes a lack of coordination of muscles and movement.
With a strong support system behind her, Donna does the best she can to live life to the fullest. But she wants more.
Her family wasn't wealthy. However, they were able to make certain that Donna had any and all of the things that she needed. But she wanted to be like anybody else. She wanted to have a normal life. She wanted to love.
By the time she's 30, she can no longer ignore her needs. With few friends and no romantic relationships, she gives online dating a try to find that special someone.
this is the way for her to open up her life and her world to other people because she wasn't going to have that opportunity at home.
And it's not long before a 23-year-old American man from Delaware named Jason Slaughter contacts her, and she's immediately taken in by his charms.
They talked with each other, and they even exchanged pictures. Jason knew all the right things to say.
Donna was starving for attention, and no one ever talked to her in that way before. Therefore, it was something that was gratifying to her.
The pair talk daily, and Donna reluctantly admits she doesn't work because of her cerebral palsy. But Jason doesn't seem to mind. In fact, he wants to come clean about his own past and have no secrets between them.
I have something to tell you as well.
Jason told Donna that he was bisexual, but he told her, this is no longer who I am. Because of you, I want to be with you. I'm in love with you. So that's making her feel even better as a woman.
But what she doesn't know is that her new love has more than one secret. He's actually an ex-con with a criminal record who lives off of his petty scams.
Jason would take out renter's insurance and later, after a month or two, vandalize the apartment, write hate messages all over the building, and file claims with insurance companies. Jason was a con man and a master manipulator.
After a few months of chatting back and forth, Jason insists they meet in person, and Donna jumps at the chance.
When you already have a physical limitation, you feel like nobody wants you, nobody will love you. This may be my only chance at true love. So let me grab it and hold on to it for dear life. She decided she was going to leave the UK, come to the United States.
She met Jason in Delaware, and he was everything she thought he would be, especially in her fantasy world. And they got along just great, so in her mind, it was the perfect union.
And now that Donna's found a man, she's willing to do his bidding and destroy anyone who comes between them.
Teamwork, let's go. She was completely devoted to him.
She's going to go through the fire for and with her man.
After meeting the love of her life online, Briton Donna Brimble can't believe her luck when she finally lays eyes on Jason Slaughter in person in Delaware. And he's everything she had hoped for.
There had not been boyfriends in the past, and nor was she ever really in a relationship with anyone else.
Donna had cerebral palsy. She was frail. She walked with a cane. And here comes Jason. He's sexy. He's good looking. He's telling her, I will love you. I will be with you, despite your physical limitations.
After making love for the first time ever, Donna is on cloud 9 and even more committed to him.
I believe she fell hard and completely, unconditionally in love with Jason Slaughter.
In healthier relationships, we see that it's not just about the sex, but it's about emotional intimacy. So this is everything that Donna wanted, and therefore, for her, that was the optimal relationship, emotionally and sexually, and having both together.
I have a surprise for you.
So when Jason asks her to marry him after only a few days, she accepts without hesitation.
Out of all the women in the world, he wanted her. He loved her. But I think for him, she represented someone who was a means to an end.
Just months later, the couple marry at a Delaware courthouse, and Donna never sets foot in the UK again. All she cares about is being Mrs. Slaughter.
She lost contact with her family, all of her support. She was all in with her relationship with Jason.
To start their new life together, Jason rents them a quaint little house in Mauch, Georgia, just a couple hours south of Atlanta. With a population of 1,600, they have all the privacy they need as newlyweds.
You're not gonna have the nosy neighbors. The next person maybe 5-10 acres away.
As the two settle in, Donna's joy is only matched by her love for Jason.
I'm sure it was going really well. You know, you're a new couple, newlyweds. I'm sure they were incredibly happy for a while.
Although within a few months, it becomes clear that without a steady income, they're going to sink deeper into debt.
Jason's not working, but he has some savings from previous jobs, maybe some previous scams, some other things. He has a savings account built up. That's starting to dwindle down.
And Donna can't help but notice Jason spending more and more time online. But she has no idea he's suddenly searching the internet looking for someone who might be able to pitch in and doesn't let gender stand in the way.
So he was initiating new relationships with other people.
And when he comes across the dating profile of a 21-year-old man named Michael Hagel, he can tell right away the young man is in need of some TLC and decides to reach out to him.
Michael is somebody who lives in St. Louis, but his family is not a fan of the homosexual lifestyle.
Not only is he lonely, but just like Donna, Michael has a disability that makes him insecure.
One of his legs was longer than the other, had surgery with a hip implant, and he was getting a disability.
They corresponded back and forth, and they became friends.
Jason was a troll. He knew how to pick the right people who are vulnerable emotionally, physically, and sexually, and those were the people he targeted on.
Believing her husband can do no wrong, Donna turns a blind eye to Jason's new friend, even when he visits him in Missouri.
Whether there was intentional ignorance on Donna's part, we don't know.
After just a few months, Jason tells Michael he's in love with him and asks his new boyfriend to move in with him in Georgia. Michael, believing he's met someone special, jumps at the chance for true love, just like Donna did before him.
Michael had detached himself on his own volition from his family. And so he was more than willing to take Jason as a person who he would welcome the affection and the love from.
That spring, Michael packs his bags and makes the 700-mile trek from St. Louis, Missouri to Mock, Georgia. Jason tells his wife he's invited Michael to be their roommate to help with their bills, and she couldn't be more thrilled.
Wow, looks great.
Jason was quick to explain it away. He's financial income. He's a supplement to their income. So it didn't raise any red flags for her.
But when Michael gets there, he's shocked to find that Jason doesn't live alone, but instead is married to a woman.
Jason is telling him, oh, you know, Donna is just here because she wants to have her citizenship. There's nothing going on with us.
But to be sure Donna's feelings don't get hurt, he asks Michael to keep their romantic relationship a secret, and he agrees.
Okay, all right, yeah, all right.
Jason is just dealing spin. He's got both of them wrapped around his finger, neither one knowing about the other.
The three form an unconventional family, with Jason at the helm, and no one disputes it.
Donna and Michael basically came under Jason's wing because he was a master manipulator. But more than anything else, he isolated them from their families, whereas now he became the only one, the alpha.
But within a few months, Donna notices the two men in her life spending a lot more time together without her.
Donna kind of gets hips to the fact that a lot of the times it's kind of Jason and Michael over here together and they're leaving me out.
And that had to gnaw at her and had to destroy the feeling that she was the only one who Jason cared about.
In an effort to soothe his wife's insecurity, Jason tells her he's going to take out an insurance policy on himself and Michael, so she'll be taken care of if anything happens to them.
Michael Hagel's policy made Jason the beneficiary of $500,000, whereas the policy that was on Jason's life made Michael the beneficiary of only $25,000. So you can see what was going on there.
Once the documents are signed, Jason tells Donna what he really has in mind.
Take him out, and then we collect the money.
And with her help, not only will they not have to worry about money for quite a while, but it will be just the two of them together forever.
Jason simply tells Donna I want you to shoot him in the back of the head. Will you do that for me, honey?
In Mock, Georgia, Donna's husband, Jason Slaughter, takes out a life insurance policy on his male lover, Michael Hagel, and asks his devoted wife to kill him.
In her mind, this was a way to get rid of a rival. This was her way just to be alone with Jason. She was enamored, she was in love with him, she would have done anything just to be with him.
So it doesn't really take much to convince Donna to go along with his scheme. She's thrilled to be back in her man's spotlight.
Donna thought that Michael was a threat. There was also a need for money. And she was so much in love, I guess, with Jason that she would do anything for him.
She has no idea that what she's agreed to do will cost her everything.
Donna was willing to do whatever she needed to do for him, even murder.
The next afternoon, Donna quietly loads one of her husband's guns and conceals it in the perfect place.
She hid it in the laundry basket because she was pretending to be doing laundry. She snuck behind Michael while he and Jason were playing video games.
Donna looks over at Jason and takes a deep breath. She knows she can't turn back now.
She pulled the gun out, pointed it in the base of his head, and shot him.
Michael is killed instantly.
Come on.
Without hesitating, the two roll his body into a large plastic bin to avoid any more unnecessary blood on the floor, just like they had prearranged. Then, as Jason's done in his past rental insurance scams, they write racial and sexual epithets on Michael's skin using a bold black marker, hoping it will throw off police.
They ended up putting KKK, hell, and gay verbiage on his body to make it seem like a hate crime.
To seal the deal, they beat him in his arms and legs.
The body was hit with a hammer, but maybe like he was in a brawl or a fight.
She was under his spell. So by getting rid of Michael, she was proving to Jason that she was worthy of his love.
The two anxiously wait until nightfall and then load the plastic container with Michael's body into the back of their red truck. They drive 30 miles away until they find the perfect spot to dump him.
It was a rural road out in the middle of nowhere. Michael's body was just laid on the side of the road, like a piece of garbage that was thrown from a car.
On their way back home, husband and wife throw any evidence, including the gun, into a trash dump site along the way.
They come back to the house and bleach it completely.
All that's left to do is wait for Michael's body to be found so they can cash in on the $500,000 life insurance policy.
We're all individuals. We're human beings. Michael was a human being who did not deserve this.
Early the next morning, Michael's body is spotted by a passing school bus.
Some of the children noticed something that was strange. When the bus driver realized what it might be, he called the police.
The Marion County Sheriff's Office responds, and deputies can tell right away that the victim was murdered somewhere else and dumped there.
There was no scuffle. There was no indication of any blood that was there.
There was no identification on the body, so police didn't know who he was.
The only clue they have is a witness who saw a red truck leaving the scene the night before. The police go to the press a few days later about a John Doe whose body has been discovered. Jason sees the announcement on the news and realizes Michael's ID must have fallen out somewhere.
They had to let the authorities know that this was indeed Michael. Otherwise, part of their whole plan would be messed up.
They wouldn't get the money, so it forced them to.
6 days after Michael's body is discovered, Jason decides to risk it and contacts the authorities.
Jason called us and told us this might be a roommate of theirs who was missing.
The master con man is prepared with a story to explain why he hadn't called the police sooner.
Honestly, I think he might be a male prostitute or something.
Jason painted Michael as a male prostitute, so for him to be gone for several days, they didn't think anything of it.
Hoping to find out who killed Michael, police ask Jason if they can come to the house and search his roommate's room, and he agrees. But what investigators find will quickly break the case wide open and show just how devoted a wife can be to her husband.
There were just red flags and whistles and sirens going off.
Nothing was going to stop her from protecting her man.
After killing their roommate, Michael Hagel, to collect $500,000 in life insurance, Donna and Jason Slaughter agree to let police into their home in Mock, Georgia, so they don't seem suspicious. But as the front door opens, investigators have a feeling they're face to face with Michael's killers.
When they went into the house, they were hit with an odor of bleach. Bleach everywhere. And they could tell somebody is doing some serious cleaning up here.
Take a look around.
And further searching has police looking directly at Jason when they uncover that he's been lying about his relationship with Michael all along.
During the search of the room, we see that Michael had love letters, had notes and drawings that depicted his love for Jason.
Something he neglected to mention.
So there's another red flag. And why didn't Jason tell police that there was this relationship? And just all of the story just started unraveling.
While Jason and Donna sit back silently, investigators are disappointed when they find no blood or a murder weapon. But they do find something just as good: motive.
They discovered an insurance policy. And they looked up the policy, and the policy was for $500,000 with Jason Slaughter being the beneficiary.
But the final nail is an eyewitness who saw a red truck matching theirs at the dump site. Husband and wife are both taken into custody for the murder of Michael Hagel. Once she's alone with investigators, Donna doesn't take long to crack. She quickly confesses to killing the young man while Jason was sleeping.
So Donna just immediately said she did it. And she claimed that in a jealous rage, she shot Michael.
I definitely shot him.
You need to believe me, I shot him. And this is exactly where I shot him. And she pointed to where she said she shot him.
But she never once implicates Jason in the murder.
Donna was totally devoted to her husband, Jason. Therefore, it's not surprising at all that she took the full rap for this. She wouldn't give Jason up, because in her life, without Jason, she was nothing.
Although police can't help being skeptical, especially when Donna claims that she got rid of Michael's body all by herself.
Donna said that I did everything, and that didn't fly with the investigation.
When you look at her, you know she could have never dumped that body by herself.
It just didn't add up. But this woman loved Jason so much. Here again, she's still willing to go to bat for him.
It's just what Jason had planned all along. So when police question him, he doesn't hesitate to turn on his wife.
Jason denied involvement in everything. He put it all on her and said, oh, she did this. I wasn't involved at all.
But police don't buy it. And neither does the jury. 2 years after Michael Hagel is murdered, Jason and Donna Slaughter are both tried and convicted of murder, aggravated assault, concealing the death of another, tampering with evidence, and possession of a firearm during the commission of a crime. They are each sentenced to life plus 15 years. Through it all, Donna stands by her man.
We offered to allow her to move to set aside her conviction and testify for the state, and then allow her to plea possibly to manslaughter. She would not bite, but she would not roll on Jason.
She didn't help herself and her own case. She was committed to going down the same path that her husband went down. That's how much she loved him.
This was truly a very symbiotic relationship of someone who wanted to be completely controlling and a person who felt that being controlled gave.
Feel the funk, don't stop the ride.